and love from India. I once again welcome all the participants from India and around the world to the International Film Festival. Before we begin with the next experience, I would like to take a moment and express our gratitude to all the filmmakers, the actors, the crew members who have brought their words and stories into life. So, without keeping you all waiting much more, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Isaac Crawley. He is an upcoming actor who is an expertise in navigating the craziness of the industry and how to constantly be learning and mastering your craft. So, Isaac, the stage is all yours.
Hello, hello, hello. It's very good to be here. I really appreciate. Sorry, it's blurring my background. I really appreciate ALP Productions for reaching out to me and asking me to give a little bit of insights to all you tremendous young filmmakers, actors, content creators. It's a really special thing that we get to celebrate as a community, a filmmaking community around the world, because so many just creative driven minds. It's really exciting to be a part of that. So I really appreciate you asked me to speak today. So I thought I would go over something in my experiences when it comes to acting and finding a truth, which it might be really beneficial for a lot of directors or other filmmakers out there, about harnessing an actor's ability to find that truth, because the more they can communicate the character, the more that they can contribute to the point of the scene, you're going to make a better film, a better production. And for me, I'm not classically trained, but I've been to acting classes, teaching techniques, every technique under the sun. I've worked with some amazingly talented actors who have used every different technique under the sun, and just being a sponge and learning all of that has been fantastic. But I think what I found is the best tool is improvisation. And I'll go over that a little bit quickly about me. Yes, Isaac Crawley is my name. I'm located in Melbourne in Australia, all the way from Australia. I grew up in a little town called Geelong. And I have had a very unique road to the industry. I've been acting professionally now for about 5 years. And I just fell into it. I used to play a lot of sport, a lot of football and cricket, and I actually had a motorbike injury, hit my head. And the only other thing I'd ever loved doing was acting, but I never quite took it seriously. And then I had this incident. I had to give up sport and fell in love with acting, went to an acting class, and, fast forward 7 years and I'm making a career out of it. So I'm very passionate about the arts, and I'm so excited to be around people like you, like I said at the top. So today we're going to talk about improvisation. I know a lot of actors and a lot of filmmakers even are probably going, absolutely not, no way. I've written a script. I need it to be performed exactly as I've written it, which is completely fair and completely true. But what I've learned is that improvisation is a tool for preparation. It's a tool for stretching out authenticity, and it is the keys to finding true emotion, because it's using our instincts as an actor and as a filmmaker to create something real, and that's something that an audience member can connect with, which is the most important part. And about giving truth to the camera we'll go over, which is, if you find this fantastic character when you're improvising, if you can't communicate it with the camera, then there's no point, because we don't want to lose great performances if the camera doesn't see them. So we start with the basics. Look, improvisation, of course, is unscripted spontaneity, creative scene play between two actors. It's a tool that is often sort of pigeonholed or often associated with comedy. And you hear of great actors such as Ryan Reynolds, Seth Rogen, and you hear about how just brilliant they are. I know the Deadpool movie, Ryan Reynolds improvised, half the script on the spot. And I think a great example of that is Deadpool is so funny because although it's make-believe, like he's a superhero that can't be killed, it's so real what he's saying. It's so relatable. All the jokes are really relevant to like what we would all say to each other in this day and age. And I think that authenticity is a really important part about why improvisation is such a critical tool for all actors to rely on. A good principle, the yes and principle, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it. If you're ever doing an improvisation exercise, you're not allowed to block. Never block the other actor, right? You never say no to a suggestion they're making in a scene. Always say yes. yes, and you want to keep the scene going. And when it comes to my experiences with performance, I think it's all about being involved in that moment. And improvisation isn't just how you say a word that isn't on the script, but it's also how you react to how someone delivers a line to you. You might be acting with someone in just a two-person scene, but you haven't got any lines and they've got all the lines and they're giving this brilliant performance. But if you're not giving something back, if you haven't found something to react, to listen to what they're saying and give something back that's unique, that's fresh, we talked about at the start about performing for the point of the scene. What's the point of this scene? What are we trying to show? So the bigger film, the bigger project can be communicated to an audience member. If you're not giving back to that, then you lose the brilliant performance from your scene partner, and suddenly the film isn't, what it could be. That pinnacle, that end goal, that a whole set, a whole cast, what they're all working towards. Sorry. And then, yeah, again, actively listening. As an actor, if you don't know how to listen, if you're just expecting what someone's going to say to you, like, no one can read minds. It's not real. It's inauthentic. And being able to listen to the character that you're talking with, it's the hardest part about acting, because you know what they're going to say. You've read the script. So improvisation is a really good way of, a good technique. I'm about to go over it in this next slide. Actually, we'll go straight into it, about exploration and exploring characters. And improvisation, to me, in my experience, has been the most critical part in how I prepare for any role. And in terms of actively listening, if a really good technique, if you're in a rehearsal space, and if you're a director or a filmmaker, this is a great one that I've seen directors use to really get the characters fleshed out between the two actors, but also to build a connection between the two actors. So what you do is you have the actors read the scene once, and then you throw the scene away and go, righto, action. I want you guys to act. What's the point of the scene? It's to show that this character is going through a conflict and this other character wants to help. Don't worry about the words. Just act it. Act how you would have that conversation as that character. And then you suddenly find these you're not worrying about the words. It's just raw emotion. And you find all these things inside your body as an actor that you can then put back into the written words, because really a script is just words on paper. Until someone performs it, until an actor gives their body, their experiences, their creative flair, it's just words. So this is a really good technique to start with the feeling, start with the emotion, and then the hardest part as being an actor is feeling, right? Is figuring out how to be someone that's just lost someone that they love. Like if you read that in a script and you're an actor, you go, shivers, that's going to be hard. That's going to be a tough day on set. So instead of worrying about what's being said, worry about what's being felt, and improvise, explore. Well, the first thing I do when I get an audition or a character is I sit in my room. I'll put my phone, filming me, and you've read the character. The basic questions: how old is he? What does he do for a job? What kind of a person is he? And then I'll just improvise with myself. I'll just put myself in the character in situations, like telling his mother that he's has to move away. He has to join the army. Or how would that conversation go with his mother? And just by feeling these really weird scenarios as the character, you suddenly feel things in your body about how this character feels angry. Oh, this character really bottles it up and doesn't want to tell his mother this. And I can feel myself feeling that. So then once I've now fleshed out how this character feels angry, sad, happy, love, a little bit sexy, how all these feelings that I can put back into the script, it makes for a more grounded experience for me. It makes me less worried about what's going on the page, because I know the feelings. And I feel like that's a really critical part for any aspiring actor to understand. Is it's about the truth. It's about the feeling. You can do as much homework as you want, but until you know how to feel those feelings, your performance is not going to be as good as it could be. And emotional authenticity is probably the best word there, because authenticity is believability. If you're not authentic, an audience member is not going to believe you. And the purpose of the project that you're working on, that this team is working towards, it might get lost in a bad performance, which every actor is trying to avoid. Some great exercises there. I'm sure a lot of the actors in the room have done this. The deep dive, the Q&A. Again, forget about the script. Feel your character. Righto, I think I know what this guy's like now. Get someone to ask you 20 questions about this character, about their background, their beliefs, their love life, their first kiss, and just instinctively answer. Instinctively give that feeling, because as soon as you're not thinking about it, like, you're the character, right? Like, that's that connection. The closer you can get yourself to understanding who you're portraying is the first step to really giving something real. So I say all this with a word of caution, because I think what I said off the top is people write beautiful, beautiful scripts, and a lot of the time don't want them changed, and that is so okay. I think that's a really special part about creating a story. And when they are just words on paper, though, until you bring your character, yourself, to those words. And improvisation, in all the preparation that we just talked about finding the emotions, again, is the best first step. Instead of reading the paper and going, I need to feel sad here, I need to feel angry here, go, what's the point of this scene? How would my character be feeling? Let's flash out some improvisation exercises and see how he feels in those situations, and then put those feelings back onto the page, because then you'll get something more real, clear, and it'll be a much more effective use of your time. So communication, being transparent with the actor that you're working with, and definitely the director and the writer. If you talk to the director and you go, look, these words are really clogging me down, I can't quite convey the emotion I think this character is feeling, because the words are not letting me express that. 9 times out of 10, the director will go, awesome, what would you rather say? And you go, right, I've improvised, and in the improvisation, I've said the line a little bit differently. I've said it like this. And suddenly, by just changing 2 words, bang, you can access that emotion that you really need to, and it makes for a much more believable experience. I've recently worked on a film last year where I worked with a brilliant director, Bonnie C, up in the Gold Coast in Australia. It was just a goofy rom-com Christmas movie, and the script was really great, but I felt like it was really restricting the character and a lot of the moments and a lot of the comedy in the film and in the scene. And I just said, look, there's so much more I want to say. And she just said, righto, let's do a take, and you just say it. And she literally just let me improvise around the scene, and it created some really authentic, really funny moments that made the final movie. And then for the rest of the film, we would film one take as the words were written, and then we'd film the next take with me being allowed to improvise, and the shackles are released. And as an actor, not having to worry about the words is the best thing that can ever happen. I think all lazy actors can attest to that. That being said, as well, it's really important to explore. If you're ever having that, you've been bogged down in the words, and you're really struggling with the delivery of the line that's on the page, but the director really wants it delivered in this way. Take your scene partner, take a step back, and go, hey, can we just improvise this so I can get those creative feelings in my body again, so I know better what I'm trying to say here? Because again, we get stuck in our heads as actors and directors. You can see an actor stuck in their head about what they're trying to communicate and what they're trying to express with the work. The best way, look, take 5 minutes. We're going to reset the scene. You guys go over there, change the words, change it up. Let's figure out what this needs to be. And that's such a great technique as well. And you can come back with a fresh set of eyes and a new way to tackle the problem. And tying it all together, the most important part about all of this is it's so great to curate such a beautiful, grounded, emotionally authentic performance, but unless the camera catches it, it's worth nothing. And as you all know, you can't hide from the camera, but you can certainly overwhelm it, I think, is the best way to put it. With improvisation, you can sometimes get carried away with over complicating dialogue, and that's why good writing is so good, because it says what needs to be said in the most succinct, beautiful, in the right way. All right, the writer has nailed, a good writer has nailed exactly what needs to be said to express the feelings of the character. And sometimes improvisation can overcomplicate that. So making sure you know when to use it on camera. You know, you've communicated with the director, you've communicated with the crew, and they know that you're going to walk over here instead of over there like you did in the other 5 takes. That's really important. It's also really important to uh, understand continuity, and that you can't just you might have a line at the end of a scene or a joke, as is often the case, or you might be yelling at someone. You might have the last say in an argumentative scene, and you might have a bit of freedom to use a different line every time, and that's great. But you've got to remember continuity, and your actions have to stay the same, and your head has to be where it was from the other 5 seconds of that scene. And lastly, just because it works when you're trying to create something doesn't mean it's going to work on camera, and just trust your director. And I think that's the beauty about improvisation is use it, love it, harness it, but it's still a collaborative process, and that's what acting is. And having trust in your director, understanding that they're there to take care of you. They are the eyes, they are the ears. If they've got a direction, go, look, Isaac, I really love that scene. It was really funny, or it was really sad. It was beautiful, but we're actually trying to create a different moment. So can we try it more like that? Don't get disheartened. Don't think, oh no, I'm bad at improvisation, or I'm not authentic, or I haven't got that emotional authenticity. You do. It's just not the point of what we're trying to achieve here. And that's what the director's job is to oversee all of that, to captain the ship, to steer the ship, and just having that trust is really, really important. And I will end with, if you're ever feeling flat, you've done a scene 25 times, doing a little bit of improvisation can really, spice things up again, give you a bit of life back into the scene, into you as an actor and your scene partner, hopefully. Yeah. Thank you so much. That's all I've really got on improvisation today. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. My Instagram, Isaac Crawley there. If you guys have any questions, or you want to chat about acting or performing or improvisation, by all means, hit me up. Do we have any questions now, Sneha? I don't know if that's a feature. I'm happy to hang around, but thanks you again. And it's so brilliant. I can't wait to watch all these films on YouTube. I'm really looking forward to it. Keep living the dream, trying your hardest, and making beautiful, beautiful art. It's awesome. So thank you.
Hey Isaac, what's up?
Good man. Lovely to see your
Hey.
beautiful face in person, eh?
Yeah, finally we met, eh?
Yeah.
So while you were talking, right? So there were a lot of questions were like popping out. So from here, from the YouTube channel, and there are actually 150 students from hostel watching you. Your acting channel. So there are a lot of questions. So if with your permission, can I ask?
Far away, please.
All right. So Simran from India wanted to ask that how do I maintain consistent character portrayal across multiple takes?
Yeah, that's a really great question, and it's
Yeah.
definitely another challenge of acting and working on a set. Is it can be a long time. You're doing the same scene 20, 30, 40 times. A good one I find is, and this is a really good one to use with improvisation as well, is finding beats, finding moments to anchor your performance in. A good one I use is, a lot of scenes have whether you say one line, it's easy if you've got one line because you've only got the one line to ram it home with, but they'll have little beats. You'll have lines in each scene that you say, and you deliver it really well. You're really comfortable with it. The feeling sits well with you. You're not worried about whether or not I'm doing a good job, whether or not I'm being authentic. So just highlighting those in my script, like these are my anchor lines that I know I'm going to smash and I'm going to hit every single time, is a really good way that I do that. But I'm sure that there's various techniques. I've seen actors not talk in between takes because they want to save it just for their performance.
It's like what I can guess is, like, if I tell about you, so it's like, you are you're a comic actor or maybe an action. You love genres of action, right?
Of course.
Was what I observed is like you love Deadpool. We also love Deadpool. The way he improvise all the characters, it's very famous in India actually. Marvel and DC are too famous in India. If I say,
there you go.
it's too famous, So there's a question from Justin. He's saying that, is there any such as too much rehearsals?
Is there what? Sorry.
He's saying that, is there any such too much rehearsal? Like if you are doing an act, right? if you're doing an act in front of the camera, so before the camera, you how many times you rehearse?
I would rehearse depending on the character and the performance. Like you said, if it's a comedy and it's fun, sometimes you'll rehearse for an hour, 2 hours before an audition because it's just great. You just love doing the scene. It's really funny. It's really great writing. But for more difficult stuff that you're really struggling to find that truth, again, I like to break it up. Anyone who tries to sit in a room for 10 hours to find a character is
Sorry
just
to interrupt,
insane.
Isaac. So how about if like we can just see an act of a comedy, if with the permission, if you like show us.
If I show you,
Yeah.
you want me to send you a film? I can't act off.
No,
But,
no.
yeah,
See, you are an actor, so you can do, I guess.
yeah. I mean, that's true. That's true. That's true. But no, you guys don't want to bore you with that. But I'm sure I'll
Like,
send you some
audience will love
videos,
it.
huh?
Like audience will love it if they see a live action acting from
No, I don't even I
Crawley.
don't know what we'd do. All right, we could do if you have an audience participation. A good one is what's a good.
You can do also a monologue, if we can say, like there's a monologue from a we can say a Deadpool film. Like he always improvise, as you see. So there's
No, I'm sorry, man. I can't. I'm not prepared. It would just let everyone down, and then they wouldn't believe anything I've just said. But having a good monologue though is such a critical part of any actor's
yeah.
toolbox. I know there's one that I really like. I don't know if you've seen the film or if anyone's seen the film out there.
Please
The
tell us
Perks
the
of
film.
Being a
I guess
Wallflower.
you see, it's like we are the people in India are like diehard fans of films from Hollywood. Actually,
Yeah,
I'm being serious. And like if you say a film, a lot of people will be saying, yes, I've seen, yes, I've seen, yes, I've seen this film. So they're like this. So if you say, you just tell the film you'll be talking about, then we'll surely let us know.
Perks of Being a Wallflower. It's a fantastic
Yes.
film. Paul Rudd's in it. Logan Lerman, he's a tremendous
Yeah.
actor. And there's a monologue scene from that. If anyone's out there looking for good monologue scenes for auditions, there's a really good one at the end of the film where Logan Lerman's character talks about, he reflects on life. And it's a really long scene that gives you a lot of, when I was talking about anchoring lines, you highlight lines that you can anchor your performance in. That one's got so many, and it's really, really good. So I recommend everyone going in or aspiring young actors, especially it's a male scene, so it's a bit easier in that sense. But just reading it, get in your room and do it. It's a really good one to get those juices flowing, and a really good one to read, improvise, and then find those emotions and put it back into the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've been reading chat, and they're messaging me directly that just a random scene. Please do tell Isaac to do a random scene from a film. Please do it for the public, please.
You guys, you're putting me on the spot. Yeah. I'd have to do it in the nude, and I'm not doing that. So
It's all right. So there's another question from Justin also. He said, if a shoot is scheduled very inconsistently, like having big gaps between the shoot dates, then how can a director help her actors to perform in continuity through the consistent shooting schedule?
yeah, great question, Justin. I'm not a director, but I've worked with some brilliant ones, and communication is 100% the most important part from an actor to have a relationship with the director. Then just sending me text. So I'm working on a project at the end of the year, and it's a feature film. I'm very nervous, but the director of the film, she checks in on me every day, basically, and sometimes it's just, we don't start shooting until November, and she'll just be like, yo, what's up? And she's like a 40-year-old woman. Like she's so and just having that communication and that trust means that when I do get to set, or let's say we'd already started shooting and there was a 2-month gap, when I do get back to set, I'm familiar, I'm comfortable. I know that Lean's in my corner. Her name's Lean, and that's really important. And I think transparency, communication is just the most important thing. So just sending them texts, keeping in touch, asking them questions about the work, because it's hard. It's hard at times to be having such breaks. Unlike a stage show where you do the whole thing at once, it can be hard for the actor. But it's good just to keep them in their mind in the project, which is really important, I think.
Exactly. So there's a question which is going to bless you. So
Yeah.
hi, Isaac. Hi, Asik, you're very handsome. I have a doubt. I'm a method actor, but sometimes while doing emotional scenes and practicing it, the effects will be for weeks. So I'll be sad for days. All right, method acting. Yes. Can you tell and give me some basic method to shift into character acting method? Just the basic of a complimentary from your very good sharp face with really nice. Oh.
Is that my mother in the comments writing that?
I
She
don't know. Maybe.
That might be my mum. Thanks, mum. No, thank you to whoever said that. I really appreciate it.
Actually, Kritika from India said that.
Kritika, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. But and also I really commend you on being method. It's look, it's really I don't have great advice in how to snap out of it, because if you're that deep into the work, that means you're doing a really authentic job. I'm no way encouraging doing crazy method acting, when you don't eat for 2 weeks because you have to be someone that's on their deathbed. I don't encourage that. I think we're actors. You mean to be able to turn it on and turn it off, but we're also human beings. And I know that sitting in dark places, dark emotional places, to access that truth can be really taxing. So one thing I do is straight away I'm on the phone to my girlfriend, or I'm on the phone to my family, my friends. Come on, let's go out and have a beer, or let's go to the movies and watch the Super Mario Brothers movie or something
Yeah.
like that. Let's go laugh. Let's laugh. Let's have fun. And again, don't disgrace yourself for being sad, but understand it, and understanding your body. And I think that's another thing about improvisation is it's a really good way to understand and really work on your actor's tool, which is your body and your feelings. And the more you can tap into different emotions, improvisation's only going to help that, because it's your instinct, and your instinct's everything, right? It's all our choices. So great question. And I'm sorry that wasn't an easy answer. I'm not like, just have a couple of
No,
Panadol and you're all good.
you have said a very great you have illustrated a very great answer, because in a method acting you have to roam around with your friends and family, with your girlfriends and with your friends, with your sister, with your mother. So because you have to observe people and you have to see things. That's why you can observe them, you can cast that character, then you can do the method acting. That's a very great thing you said. Yeah. Yeah. So the last question from this session, because there are a lot of questions popping out. I have never seen these type of questions. So I'm gonna ask you last question, because we are running out of time. But if you wanted to ask, a lot of questions, so you can. If you wanted
So
to.
yeah, add me Instagram me questions. I'm happy to answer them
That
for
would be
sure.
great. So the last question of this session is, uh, how can I build chemistry with other actors in a scene?
Great. How can you build chemistry?
Me?
Was that the question? How to build
Yeah.
chemistry?
This is a question from a student, from a
Yep.
host. He's asking that he's a male. He's a guy, and he's asking that how can I build a chemistry with other actors in a scene?
Really great question. And again, I don't know if I touched on it, but not being formally trained, I know when I was early on as an actor, and I would get to these sets and I'd feel really insecure about not being as experienced as the other actors I was working with. And that looks, if you're nervous on set, it shows. And the one thing I remembered is not trying to be anything other than who I was, and not trying to pretend or trying to match these worldly experienced actors, and just being yourself and getting to know them. They're all just people too as well. And just like you connect with anyone in a workplace, on any environment, whether it be a cricket team, or whether it be in a corporate job, finding connections. Oh, you like dogs, I like dogs as well. You like cricket, I like cricket as well. Finding that personal connection. So when you get to set and when you get to work, you've got that trust, and from trust comes chemistry.
That's a
And sorry, mate, keep going.
you were saying first.
Yeah, so I was just, from trust. So the more familiarity, the more that whatever improvisation I'm going to put forward, or that emotional authenticity I'm going to put forward, that other actor is going to give it back, and you don't have to doubt that. You don't have to second guess yourself. You can be sure, and you can create something real together. So communication, being friendly, getting to know people, that's the chemistry builder, and building a rapport, building trust.
Yes,
Trust is chemistry without a doubt.
Like the trust is the first thing if you are doing acting with the co-actors. I had this film last.
100%.
I had this. I have made this last film. It's a love story actually, and me and my co-actor, she's a female. So we were boyfriend girlfriend in that film. So we made a very good connection, and we are still friends. So we roam around, we
Yeah,
watch films. Yeah, that's a great thing if you are doing an acting with a co-actor. So
100%.
exactly. So these were the questions, and our host Neha wanted to ask a question to you. Our host Neha, who she's hosting it. So Sneha, you can ask the question. You're not audible right now, Sneha. No. You can plug out your earphones before the Isaac. Kritikas asked that can you suggest some of your favorite movies which help us to focus on acting? Any genre movie on any suggest any movies for your favorite, like what inspired you while
Ooh,
you were an
great
actor?
question.
Yeah.
Great question. I think I can give. I love watching performances, and I love. You heard me talk about emotional authenticity and truth, and I just love watching actors. Christian Bale is just so
Oh wow,
phenomenal in
he's a
he
god.
he really is. He really is. Everything he does is so unique and honest and grounded. Uh, he's fantastic. And another one, Meryl Streep. Like she's, I know she is a bit older, but some of her older films as well are just so phenomenal. And just her diversity and range. The Iron Lady, where she plays Margaret Thatcher, is just. And I don't really care for English politics, but her performance in that film is spectacular. It's so good. I also love Brad Pitt. I think
He's
he is
the
a really underrated actor.
he's the daddy of male actors. We can say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's not just incredibly handsome. He's also so diverse and so. You think of Fight Club and just how much he brings to that film. Uh, is incredible. Off the top of my head, what else have we got? They're just a few. I do love Ryan Reynolds in terms of comedy. I think he's just a brilliant
I
comedic
just want to
mind.
compliment you again. You look like Ryan and all sometimes. When you were like
That's
the way you were talking now, I can hear Ryan and all just talking.
that is the kindest thing anyone has ever said to me. He's a beautiful human being.
Yes.
But he's a tremendous actor as well. And yeah, there's so many. There's so many just brilliant performances. No,
That's a
I'll
great.
take. Please send me Indian recommendations, please, please, please. Indian
If you
films.
wanted to see, there are a lot of Indian films you can watch. Audience and participant can also write Indian films here, and I'll also send the whole list of mine if you want.
Please do, please do.
Yeah.
I think Margot Robbie at the moment as well.
Margot Robbie
She's doing some brilliant things.
she's at her peak actually. We cannot like her role in Wall Street and Barbie. It was like opposite and was very tremendous. We loved it.
Yeah,
From India, actually.
yeah. Did
Yeah.
you guys see Oppenheimer? I think that's just a
I
brilliant
watched it.
film.
I watched it on IMAX and first day first show. That's it.
Yeah, the
I'm,
performances, whether the story was too long, but the performances are just so brilliant. Emily Blunt,
RDJ's performance was phenomenal.
yeah,
RDJ.
Cillian Murphy.
I actually
Oh,
made a research paper on Insomnia and Tenet because
Tenet.
yeah, I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan in the director section. So I've made a whole research paper on them actually.
Yeah, The
Yeah.
Prestige is actually one of my favorites
Prestige is a
Nolan
good
movies.
film. Prestige
It's
is
really
like
good.
a legendary film. Yes.
It's
I,
good.
I, I still got, I still got boomed when I saw the last scene. And whole
Yeah. Brilliant. It's a brilliant twist. I
exactly.
do recommend. Yeah, Nolan films are so good.
All right. So Sneha, you can ask the last question, then we'll just wrap it up.
I don't know, maybe something is
Yes, you are audible now. Please say.
something might be wrong with the system. Okay, Zach, my question was since I am a budding actor, how do you deal with social anxiety, like when you're performing for the first time on stage and on camera?
Great question, Sneha. And it is it's one of those things I think I've in my experiences you just get better at through practice, through repetition. It's never gone, and I think you'd be crazy if you didn't feel some kind of anxiety stepping onto a set in front of a room full of people that you don't really know. And I don't know what the crews are like in India, but in Australia, the crew members are very dedicated to the job they have to be, which whether it be a cameraman or a gaffer or a lighting, they're just focused on the lighting. And as long as your performance is happening quickly and you're not stuffing up, they're happy. But then you might stuff up a take, and then you start to hear them whinging about how long this is taking. And, you start to unravel with social anxiety, which is terrible for any actor, because when you're feeling that, it's not relevant to your character, which then you're thinking about that as well. And it's just a snowball effect, right? A really good exercise that I was taught by Pip Edwards, who's a brilliant Australian actress who I was working with in a short film, is breathing. And it seems so simple, but breathing exercises, take yourself out of the room, close your eyes before they yell action. I sort of do this nearly with every take now. Just 3 deep breaths, find your center, ground yourself, and then when you open your eyes, you're not seeing everything else. You're just seeing who you're in the scene with, who's in your set, in your proximity, and that's the best way to block everything out. Yeah, it's easier said than done, and I think it just takes good practice and finding acting friends that you can really bounce off, that understand what it's like as well. But then at the same time, having people that aren't in the industry. I think I've mentioned my girlfriend. She's not an actress, and she's a great person to bounce off, because she sees it in a bit more in a different light to what when you're in the moment and when you're in the drama of it all, an actor might. Just leaning on the people that you love, and remember it's fun. Remember that, like, this is cool. I think every set I've ever had the privilege of being on, I'm just like, this is amazing. I'm getting to live my dream. Like, this is the best. And I think just with that, you can only smile, you can only laugh, you can only make a joke. It's not brain surgery. No one's going to die. So great question though.
Exactly. So yeah, thank you so much, Sneha, for this. And Sneha, you'll be closing the session. And Varnika, our second host, has complimented you again that Isaac resembles Josh Dallas from Manifest.
Okay, Josh Dallas from Manifest. I haven't seen Manifest. I'll add it to the list.
Yeah. All right, so Sneha, you can close this thing now. And Isaac, whenever you come to India, just let us know. We'll show
I
you
will.
guys.
I will. I can't
Sure.
wait. Good luck
Yeah.
with everything, guys. Thanks for having me.
Sure. All right. Namaste. Thank you so much.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you.